Welcome back to Hot Takes, boys. It's the MMA series I'm doing where y'all submit to me your controversial MMA and UFC hot takes, and we go over them. We see where y'all at on the spectrum here. Do I agree or disagree? How hot of a take is it? That's what we're going over today, baby. So as usual, my boys, thank you so very much to anybody who submitted anything in. So just getting into the first one we got here, man, coming from Meow Zuzuzu, saying that Whittaker is going to dominate RDR. RDR's best win was middleweight Holland and a win over unranked Bo Nickel, who had a competitive striking match with Paul Clegg. Whittaker's going to 50-45 him and possibly get a late TKO. Here's the thing. Here's the fucking thing, you guys. I think that this is a hot take because I feel like a lot of people are going to go with RDR. The betting odds are relatively kind of close, but coming from me, I picked all three of RDR's wins in a row for the UFC, all right? I picked him to beat Kevin Holland. I picked him to beat Bo Nickel, my underdog pick of the year, baby, and I picked him to beat GM3. That one's not anything crazy, but I mention this because I need y'all to trust me here when I say that I agree with Meow Zuzu motherfucking Zoo here. I do think that Whittaker's gonna win, okay? I think that he's the favorite for a reason. Now, where I'm gonna disagree here is I don't think it's gonna be a domination clinic, okay? I don't think it's gonna be some kind of 50-45, and I think that RDR's chin and well-rounded skill set, I know it's the Looney Tune shit, I know it's goofy goober shit, but realistically, I don't know if Whittaker's gonna get a late TKO. You barely see him get finishes here and there anyways, you know what I mean? He's more so of a volume striker who kind of just relies on his experience, his cardio, his fight IQ, shit like that. He's really good at mixing it up. So I don't think that he's the biggest motherfucking power puncher. So I think that RDR's really good chin and high level experience is going to be able to hold in there. And I do think that he'll make it competitive because listen, RDR is well-rounded as well. Whittaker's very well-rounded, but RDR is too. He's good in the clinch, lands clean to the body. His striking, even though it is goofy, it is solid and it's got a lot of pop behind his shots. And his wrestling is pretty good as well. You know what I mean? So in general, I think he'll be able to hang in there and he's got solid cardio as well to maintain it to where I don't think Whittaker's going to dominate him. I think that RDR may take the opening rounds, but then Whittaker is going to show a bit of that experience level, baby. And I think he'll start to take over, really piece him up in the striking. He's got good head movement. And I just think he'll be able to move the fuck forward and dictate and control the pace and flow of the fight. So RDR is good. I don't think he'll get dominated. And this, I guess, is a hot take. But you know what? It's not too hot of a take because I do think that Whittaker is going to win as well. So moving on to the next one we got here, man. Coming from Javier Gomez, saying that Belal Muhammad is more entertaining than MVP. This at first is a really hot take, okay? But when you think about it, I wouldn't say I agree, but I understand, my friend, okay? So yes, I'll consider this a hot take, but when you really look at just their UFC performances alone, okay? Get rid of all the highlight reels and nasty finishes from MVP. We've seen high-level striking from MVP in the UFC, but in terms of entertainment, I can't lie, and you can't lie, that it's been a little bit lackluster. Okay, the Kevin Holland fight was fun, and that was a nice back and forth. Really impressive from MVP to piece him up, and he's doing all the showboating, you know what I mean? And then you have Belal Muhammad. Hey, you know, I'm not even going to go out there and shoot a single takedown against this guy, you know? Hey, bro, I'm going against the game plan. I'm here for the fans. He's going out there, and he's putting on an absolute war against JDM. He got beat the fuck up. JDM beat him 49-46. But honestly, that was a really fun fight. Even the Leon Edwards fight. Say whatever you want about that one, but I actually was solidly entertained watching that one. Belal Muhammad is coming off of back-to-back pretty fun fights, more so the JDM one, but you know what I'm saying. And then MVP, after the Kevin Holland debut, dude, the Shara Bullet fight was a lackluster performance, okay? And it's not just on MVP, and it's not just on Shara. This is a mutual fucking it up here. They thought that the matchmakers were really cooking. We thought it was going to be a dream stylistic fight between two very high-level strikers. No takedowns, no shoving against the fence, no racking up control time, yada, yada, yada. This was just going to be a battle on the feet. And it was just really disappointing. Shara just couldn't figure out the range of MVP. MVP, credit to him because he's so elusive on the feet. Really good head movement and really good footwork. And the dude is just fast as fuck. So it's not just completely on Shara, okay? MVP striking really is that good. It's really hard for guys to get into the pocket with him. But man, I'd be lying if I said that fight was fun. It was disappointing and it was lackluster. And then the one before that, the Ian Gary performance, holy shit, I forgot that one even happened. That's why I skipped right to the Shara one. Because Jesus, man, that was a stinkum. It was disappointing. A really kind of rough way to open up a main card of a pay-per-view, especially one that was kind of exciting as it was, is 303. So MVP, man, the thing is we keep setting the bar really high because he has crazy finishes from Bellator and because his striking is so good and because you know that you're just going to get a striking battle with MVP. That's what he's going to bring to the table here. He's solid in the clinch and shit like that, and he's got solid takedown defense, but MVP, you know he's trying to piece motherfuckers up. We can appreciate that about him. And Belal Muhammad is the fucking opposite because he's going out there and and really trying to spam takedowns, really trying to just get fucking a hold of guys and just really hold them down there for as long as possible. It's a huge contrast in styles. And Belal Muhammad, he's got underrated boxing. I think he's good in that department, but man, MVP is the superior striker. And I just think that Belal Muhammad has put on some solidly entertaining fights. You have the Stephen Thompson performance and shit like that, and you have the Gilbert Burns performance, and it's just kind of just underwhelming and a bit boring. But then you have the Sean Brady fight. Then you have the Leon Edwards fight. The rematch. Even the first one was pretty fun. I know he was getting beat the fuck up, but even that was solid. And then you have the last one against JDM. Belal Muhammad being more entertaining than MVP at first just seems like a crimson fucking flag. But when you really think about it, I really can't see the argument here. Maybe we're always setting the bar too high, but I just feel like MVP hasn't reached that kind of level of entertainment that we've been expecting so far. He's going to be fighting Jerry Cannonier later this year. I think that's a banger fight. I think it's going to be really fun. But actions speak louder than words, my friends. We got to fucking see it. So this is a hot take for sure. But when you really think about it, I don't think it's too crazy. So moving on up next to Nurzin Sergazi. I'm sorry if I botched the fuck out of your name, brother. Saying that I genuinely believe that Merab gets in 4 or 5 more defenses in the next 2 years and retires as the GOAT of the sport. Now, this is a hot take because I feel like that's a lot easier said than done. But you know what? It's not too hot of a take. I feel like a lot of people could agree with this. I feel like the part that really makes it fucking spicy is I don't know why I said that white as hell, but I feel like the part that makes it really spicy is the fact that you're saying he's just the in general GOAT of the sport, surpassing Makhachev, surpassing Jones, GSP, yada fucking yada, DJ, a lot of people have up there. So I understand why a lot of people would tilt their head at that, like, Merab, are you sure, motherfucker? And a lot of the bantamweights, a lot of people don't put him and give them the proper respect they deserve in the top 15 of all time. But man, Merab right now is the pound for pound number 2 officially, and even if he wasn't, in a lot of people's eyes, in the fucking world right now. So the dude is legit as fuck. He's solidified himself, in my opinion, and most people's opinion, as the bantamweight GOAT. So he's already got the divisional status done. And man, 4 or 5 more defenses in the next 2 years for someone who's as active as Merab and as dominant as Merab. And he keeps going on these performances, and it's just like, how the fuck is anybody gonna beat this guy? We see it with a Makhachev. We've seen it with Kamaru Usman in the past. We've seen it with a lot of these guys that are just running through their divisions and shit. And the best part about Merab, I mean, maybe not the best part, but something a lot of us can appreciate, he doesn't really want to move down. He doesn't really want to move up. He's trying to just dominate his division and walk fucking through it. And then maybe in a couple years, yeah, he'll think about moving up. We need kind of a bit more champions like that. A lot of motherfuckers are just getting one defense, and all of a sudden it's moving up to the next weight class. Slow your fucking roll, jabroni. You know what I'm saying? So for Merab to get 4 or 5 more defenses in, I feel like that's pretty realistic. He's active as fuck. He's already established in a really good resume. So yeah, there's a couple of just rematches waiting for him, and that's kind of unfortunate, but the Sandhagen matchup is fresh. I feel like that's going to be entertaining, and I feel like Merab's going to go and just get another one, and then he'll be tied for 3 title defenses, which is the bantamweight title record. So the guy's already the GOAT of the division, and if he goes out there and gets like a 4 more defense run after that, I really can't see him becoming, you know, the GOAT of the fucking sport. I have to stutter there because it's kind of hard to believe at first, but when you really think about his resume, when you really realize his status is pound for pound, when you realize the run he's on right now, and he's right in the middle of his prime, he's 34 years old, and he's remaining active as fuck. He's going to fight Sandhagen later this year. So I really do think the fact that this guy is just unbeatable right now, improving striking, once in a lifetime cardio, and dominant wrestling, man. He's got all the skills, you know what I mean? Especially now that he really has established himself as getting better in the striking department. It's really going to be hard for anybody to beat this guy. So the GOAT of the sport from 2 years from now, who knows how Makhachev's going to end his run. Jon Jones is already fucking falling off in people's eyes, and I don't fucking blame him. Fuck that guy. And in general, like his age, his wins, especially since they're in the modern era and in an elite division, I could totally see this happening. It's a hot take for sure. But man, if anybody could fucking do it, it would be Merab, man. He's unstoppable right now. Hey, thank you so very much for the respect. Everybody is invited to me and Sterling's Xbox Live party. Moving on up next, man, coming from MLOFB. I don't know how to fucking say that, brother, but saying that 6 out of 8 of the divisions will have a Russian champion at the same time 1 year from now. So I'm gonna have to pull up the rankings for this one just to really look at this, but so right now we're working with 2 out of the 8, which is Islam Makhachev for lightweight and Magomed Ankalaev for light heavyweight. Honestly, if we're counting like Chimaev as part of that fucking region, I don't even know where the motherfucker is from. I'm not even gonna try and fake hardcore. I should know that. I feel like it's some of the obvious. It might be like Chechnya or some bullshit. I don't fucking know. He was from Sweden before. I don't fucking know. But I could see Chimaev, if you want to count that from that kind of region, he's got the best chance out of anybody for middleweight, because I'm not seeing any other motherfucking Russian fighters. I don't think Roman Kopylov's going to exactly become a champion in the next year. So I honestly think Dricus is going to beat Hamzat, though, but maybe I could see Hamzat filling it in for middleweight, so that could be an option there. For welterweight, I mean, there ain't no motherfucking Russians in the rankings, my boy. You got Shavkat from Kazakhstan, and that's like the closest thing to it, but I'm not seeing any Russians in there, so welterweight, that's going to be shutting it down. For featherweight, obviously we got Movsar Evloev, so obviously I really do think he's got a legit chance of becoming champion. It's the fight we want to see. It's the fight that UFC doesn't want to fucking make. They're afraid to give this guy the title shot, because on the off chance he does become champion, and as for much as I love Volk, he's one of my favorite fighters, if not my favorite fighter, I think that Evloev would beat Volk if they did fight in the fall, or if they fought next year. So I really can see Evloev becoming champion. If he had the finishing ability as well, I'd be even more confident, but it is what it fucking is. So I think Evloev could become champion, possibly, you know what I mean? Merab from Georgia here, and obviously we have Umar Nurmagomedov, who is going to be representing Russia. A year from now, I really can see Umar becoming champion. I mean, he's got all the tools to become a champion, but the thing is, if he's only going to get one fight in the meantime, over like a Song Yadong or something, I don't think he's necessarily going to make the right improvements, especially with a Merab in the middle of his prime. So for Umar, I feel like if he was going to become the champion and really find a good time to beat Merab and not just going to rush him back to a title shot, I feel like if it was like a 2027 kind of thing, I could see Umar becoming champion. But I think he's too young and Merab is too good right now, but I could totally see him getting it done. The first fight was pretty close between them. And then for flyweight here, who the fuck's even from Russia here? You got Tagir Ulanbekov, but honestly, I don't think he's going to become champion. I really don't. Like, he's got a shot for sure, but I just don't think he's going to be getting it done. I think Moreno could beat him, Royval. I think Tatsuro Taira and maybe like a Joshua Van could make it really competitive for him. Manel Kape could piece him up. I don't rate Ulanbekov that high, to be honest. Like, he's a good prospect to invest in. I don't even know if you should call him a prospect anymore because he's in the fucking rankings, but the guy is good, but it's also just underwhelming in terms of his skill set at the same time. So maybe, I don't fucking know. And for heavyweight, man, I mean, you got Volkov, that shit like that, but I don't know who the fuck is going to be able to beat Tom Aspinall. Aspinall's already knocked out Pavlovich. He's already knocked out Volkov. So I just don't know which Russian is really going to be standing out for heavyweight here. I mean, maybe by 2026 or 2020 motherfucking 7, Jon Jones is still going to be holding up the division and being the greatest duck of all fucking time. Who the hell knows? But honestly, this take, it's a bit of a hot take, but it's realistic enough to where maybe I could see it, but it's a hot take, brother, okay? The fact that most of the divisions would have Russian champions, for really any country, like the USA, Brazil, whatever the fuck, any of these big regions, I think it's hard for any of them to get it done, you know what I mean? I think there's maybe just as much of a chance as like maybe Australia having 6 out of 8 champions. Maybe not, but you know what I'm fucking saying. So the Russians, they got good fighters, brother, but I don't necessarily think they're going to be dominating the UFC in that way, especially when they're really facing more higher caliber of competition as the years go by. I don't know. This is a hot take, my brother. I could see it maybe, but let's hope not. All right, unless you're from Russia, but no. Moving on, up next here, man, coming from Mr. Chens, all right, saying that sounds like some Indiana Jones side character or some bullshit, saying that GSP and Mighty and maybe even Volk are above Jones and GOAT conversations. None of them are on roids. They didn't take Anthony Smith to a decision, very specific there, but I know what you're saying, and they aren't ducking Aspinall. Now, here's the thing. Here's the fucking thing, you guys. I honestly could agree with this. I feel like when you're removing roids or applying roids to the GOAT conversation, it's a bit of a different one. But if we really are cutting out that bullshit, then abso-fucking-lutely, I would say GSP and Mighty, and maybe a few other guys. I would even put Makhachev above Jones at that fucking point. Or Volkanovski. Actually, wait, didn't Makhachev pop once? I don't remember. Okay, whatever the fuck. But maybe even Volk, like you're saying. Like, here's the thing, man. I really think that Jon Jones, in terms of his resume, Makhachev's getting close to passing him. You could argue GSP could be above him. In terms of his resume and all of the experience he has up top and just winning and winning and winning, it's hard to say he isn't the GOAT. And this is coming from me, who I absolutely can't fucking stand Jon Jones. If there's any fighter I hate or feel just strongly passionate about telling him to fuck off, it would be Jon Jones and the entire roster, man. I cannot stand the guy. I think he's terrible for the sport. He constantly fuck ups. There's the hit and run incident. There's all the popping for roids. He's stalling against Aspinall. He's not even that entertaining of a fucking fighter either. He gets a finish here and there over old man Stipe. Congratulations, but I'm not tipping my Ben Askren throw to you for that bullshit. In general, man, you got to look at that little streak he was on from 2018 to 2020. Decision, and motherfucking decision. They were all lackluster. I mean, the Reyes one, he practically fucking beat him. A lot of people thought that was a robbery. The Thiago Santos one, that was fucking close as well. I mean, so Jones keeps winning. That's the whole appeal of him for especially the UFC and the big, commercial fan base, is that this guy is the GOAT and he can't lose and he hasn't lost. So that's the big draw to him. But he's not that exciting. He's a terrible fucking representation for the sport. So honestly, I would love for Jon Jones to not be the GOAT. But that's the fucking part that sucks. He's just the biggest fucking troll you can get, man, because he just knows that he already kind of is the GOAT, and for much as people want to hate him or whatever, and there's that 2% of fans that actually fuck with him, I don't know, like, they'll defend it and all the bullshit that he does, but man, I would love to say that GSP and Mighty and maybe even Volk are above him, because I think roids are a big fucking part of that. And honestly, maybe this is kind of bogus of me or whatever, or just kind of being unfair here, but I think that the fact that he's ducking Aspinall as hard as he is just really makes me want to just lower him on the GOAT status, because that is not the GOAT of the fucking sport. That's not the champion mindset you want to see. You got guys like Volkanovski and Whittaker, they're like calling him out. Sandhagen, like, there's fighters at this point that are just starting to call him out for his bullshit. Like, that's not how you should be a champion of the fucking division, let alone you're the GOAT of the sport. This is not how you should be fucking representing. It's just genuinely an embarrassment. It's a fucking embarrassment, and it's a disgrace. The division is being just stale as fuck now and held back so badly, and it was already one of the most dry divisions that we had in the UFC. Now it's just fucking cooked until we have a guy like Aspinall that can become champion. But man, the ducking is insane. There's just blatant examples of it, just time and time again over the past year or two. God damn, it feels like it's been 3. The fact that he stretched out the comeback as well and was kind of ducking Ngannou, and then Ngannou's out the UFC. Oh, he just pops in like fucking instant transition here. It's fucking bullshit going against Gon. So Jon Jones, man, I mean, the Anthony Smith to a decision thing, I see what you're saying, but I even feel like GSP, Mighty, even Volkanovski, like, they've had their fair share of decisions where you're like, man, why the fuck are you going the 5 rounds with this motherfucker? How is this even possible? You know what I mean? Maybe not, because Anthony Smith is just so low of a caliber of opponent. So I totally see what you're saying. But if you just want to say that they're above Jones in the GOAT conversation, I think that's fucking fair. But this whole thing with Jones ducking is bringing him down for the legacy. It makes me want to represent, especially a guy like GSP higher up. For as good as Jones' resume is, I do think within the next 3 years, he's going to get passed up. Okay, somebody like Merab or somebody like Makhachev, maybe even Volk, who the fuck knows? But somebody like that, I feel like could be able to just really surpass him, so that I don't have to fucking even try and make the argument for it of like, Jones is still the GOAT. Dude, because fuck this. I don't want to do this. I hate Jon Jones, man. But the fact that his resume is undeniable pisses me the fuck off. So if anybody wants to put GSP, Mighty, Volkanovski, whoever, above Jones in the GOAT conversation for whatever reasons, because he's such a duck, because he's going to these lackluster decisions that he's arguably losing, or the fact that it's like not impressive at all, or the fact that Jones was on roids, whatever the fuck it may be, man, I think it's fair as fuck. The GOAT list is and will always be subjective to everybody individually. So I feel like we're kind of, especially nowadays, separating from the casual Mount Rushmore, where it was always the same 4 guys up top. You had Jones, Khabib, Silva, Mighty, and GSP. I know that's 5, but you know what I'm fucking saying. That was everybody's like official top 5 for years and years. Finally, we're fucking straying away from that shit, and people have different answers. Silva and Khabib and Mighty, they're kind of falling down, and you guys are stepping up. You know what I mean? So I can appreciate that. I appreciate that the generations are changing, and people are realizing that the GOAT list doesn't have to be some locked in, glued fucking thing, and that it is constantly changing, and it is all subjective. So man, this is a hot take for sure, but man, I can really understand it and appreciate it, and I feel like a lot of people would be rocking with this one. You know what I mean? So fuck Jon Jones. That's all I gotta fucking say about that bullshit. Moving on up next now to Rhett Fiddick saying that Ilia Topuria is one of the greatest mixed martial arts practitioners of all time. Rhett, I appreciate you, brother, but I gotta be honest, man, this is a cold take. I feel like it's pretty kind of clear that Ilia Topuria is one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all fucking time, man. The guy has such good technical skill. His boxing is so fucking good and ever improving. He has devastating finishing ability, really good head movement. The guy is clean as fuck, lands clean to the head, great to the body, knows how to mix it up. He's got really good grappling in his back pocket. His first 10 wins in MMA or some bullshit like that were all via submission, and it's just showing dominant grappling, and now he's just developed into such a well-rounded fighter. He has cardio that's fucking fantastic. He's got really good fight IQ. Lands clean to the body, clean to the head. His striking is dangerous as fuck, okay? Got a really good chin to hang in there, and the dude knows how to mix it up on the ground. So honestly, my brother, I appreciate you for sending this in, but man, this is a cold take. I apologize, man. All right, I feel like a lot of us are kind of aware of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, the guy is already up there in the top 15, top 20 greatest of all time. If he beats Oliveira, he's gonna keep moving up and shit like that, or we're gonna have to see how his little run goes here over the next couple of years, because maybe he will lose and maybe he'll go down. But if he keeps on winning the way he is winning and racking up these great wins, because man, getting back to back wins over Volk, Holloway, and Oliveira, especially if he finishes Oliveira as well, that could be the single greatest back to back win in UFC history. You know what I'm saying? So Ilia Topuria being up there, I feel like we know this, brother. I apologize, man. I apologize, but I hear what you're fucking saying. The dude's impressive as hell. Moving on up next, man. Speaking of Topuria here, man, I mean, we're going over Biscuit Boy saying that Topuria versus Oliveira isn't that good of a fight. Sure, it's alright, and I'm excited for it, but it isn't on the super fight level that people are putting it as. Realistically, Charles is going to get dominated and finished, and I doubt it's going to be an amazing fight. Now, here's the thing, man. It's a hot take, but I feel like that a lot of people would agree with this, okay? Me personally, I'm really excited for it, but I'd be lying if I said that it was like my first fucking option, even my second option. I would have much preferred this fight as like a number one contender fight or something like that, and then the winner gets to face Islam Makhachev. I feel like that would have been the much bigger fight, or something that made much more sense. The UFC doesn't want double champs anymore, so now we're doing the vacant belt. It is what it is, man. Like, this fight is great, and I think that that's kind of where I disagree with you, because you're saying that it's not that good of a fight. I think stylistically, it's a fucking banger. It's going to be a dream. Oliveira can present a lot of problems to Ilia Topuria. I feel like the guy has underrated striking. He's got solid pop behind his shots. He gets chinned every fucking fight. I understand that, but the guy is dangerous off his back. He's dangerous on the ground in general. The most submissions in UFC motherfucking history. And don't get me wrong, there's a reason why he's such a big underdog. You have to kind of rely on a Charles Oliveira edit to really get you amped up to pick him. I understand that. I do realize that there's more difficult fights for Topuria here, but I think that Charles isn't just going to go and get dominated. Will he get finished? I believe so, but I think the fight's going to be a really good back and forth. I feel like stylistically, it's a fucking dream fight here. I feel like it's going to be fantastic. The exchanges on the feet. I feel like Oliveira's striking can maybe hang with Topuria, and if Topuria knocks him out, then that is what it fucking is as well. It's another highlight reel for Topuria, and Oliveira's grappling is good enough, and he has high level enough experience accumulated over time to where I could see him really giving problems to Topuria on the ground, because yeah, he's able to take down Max Holloway a few times, and yeah, he's able to go out there and, like, I believe he submitted Bryce Mitchell, and like I was saying earlier, his first few wins of MMA in general were all via submission, so the guy's got good grappling. But Oliveira, I feel like, is going to be a bit by far here the best grappler he's ever faced. So obviously there's a lot of problems there. And we don't really know, besides like the Jai Herbert fight, the big bad Jai Herbert fight, how Ilia Topuria does at 155. Usually featherweights translate pretty well up that weight class, and they fit the mold pretty well. Their power kind of translates or gets better. Their chins hang in there. Their skill set in general, the lighter man's skill, as people say, man. People forget, man. So we're going to have to see that. There's aspects like that, and Oliveira kind of does present some problems for him to where I do think it's going to be an exciting fight. I do think it's a banger. Topuria is one of the biggest heels in the UFC, and Oliveira is one of the biggest baby faces in the UFC. The WWE couldn't write shit like this themselves if they tried. So the thing is, it is disappointing in a way. You could argue that Oliveira doesn't deserve the title shot to begin with. You could argue that this should have just been a number one contender fight, but now it's forced to be a vacant title fight because of the whole situation with, Volkanovski taking over the vacant belt for that division. Now Islam Makhachev moving up to 170. So now you have lightweight right in the middle, vacant belt right there. And these are the guys that the UFC chose to duke it out. And I think that that's a great fight. It's going to bring in a lot of eyes. It's a great headliner. But man, you know that there were better fights out there. You could argue Arman Tsarukyan deserved to be stepping up in this spot. Islam Makhachev's just completely out of the equation, so that kind of ruins things a little bit there. And I am excited for this fight, okay, and I think it's going to be a banger, but it does kind of feel like we're kind of just accepting it for what it is because this is just what we're getting. We know that there's better matchups out there. We know that this, you could argue again, Oliveira doesn't deserve the title shot. We're just kind of getting this because he's one of the biggest names and he is a former champion and he just so happens to be coming off of a win. So I understand it, but when you have a guy like Saryuki in there who's just going to get completely fucking ignored, and Oliveira just kind of getting up there in age, and Topuria, this is his very first fight at lightweight, I totally fucking understand that there's aspects like, yeah, we're excited for it, and it is a good scrap, but I get why some people are just disappointed at the same time. Because me, myself, for as excited as I am for it, I am a bit disappointed at the same time. So I understand where everybody's kind of coming from. It is what it is. We're just kind of accepting it. It's a banger, and we love or hate both of these guys, so we're just going to take it for what it is. But man, I'd be lying as well if I said that there wasn't better matchups out there. But I do think that Charles Oliveira does have a legit chance. I know everybody's saying this, but I think it is going to be an amazing fight. I think it's going to be a nice back and forth, pretty high pace. I'm curious how Topuria's mold is going to fit at 155. I think he'll do well, but we got to fucking see it. But Oliveira does have a really good chance. He's well-rounded. And yes, he gets rocked in every single fight, and he gets knocked down. But the thing is, when is he actually getting finished? It's kind of been years and years and years besides like the Islam Makhachev fight, because even a guy like Saryuki, who just beat him recently, like even he took him to a decision, you know what I mean? And that was still a back and forth, and Oliveira did have big moments. So I think Oliveira's got a chance, but Father Time is not on his side, and yeah, we could have better fights. I totally see what you're fucking saying, but I also do love the fight at the same time. That's where I kind of stand on that. So moving on to the last one we got here, man, coming from Nathan Ellis, saying that the Dustin that fought Islam could have beat Belal Muhammad. Now here's the thing, man, I genuinely feel like Islam Makhachev does share a lot of the same strengths as Belal Muhammad. I feel like that their striking's been improving a lot over the past few years. Belal Muhammad, like I was saying earlier, he's got underrated boxing, but I feel like Islam Makhachev's striking is superior, and he was able to hang with Poirier there. They had nice back and forth exchanges on the feet, and in terms of the grappling, we all know how good Belal's wrestling is. He's got really good takedown entries. He's really good at holding guys down there and racking up control time and just not letting them get away, man. Like, it's just offense on the ground in general. It's formidable as fuck, but I think that Makhachev's wrestling is above that. So Belal Muhammad, I just feel like it's the less perfected version of Islam Makhachev, even though he is the bigger guy. I mean, Makhachev's moving up to 170 for a fucking reason, so he's arguably just as big there. We've seen pictures of him next to each other, so you could argue whatever you want there, but man, I would say that this is a hot take because you're dealing with an older version of Poirier, and Poirier still did lose that fight. He did have a solid amount of rounds taken away from him from Makhachev, but considering the fact that that was Dustin, and almost, even though, again, a slightly older Dustin at the very tail end of his career here, he's got one fight, it's the last dance coming up. I still think that it was a fantastic version of Dustin. He was willing to die for his family in the cage that night, brother. And Islam Makhachev is, for as good as Belal is, I think the dude is underrated. He is a good fighter. I do think that Islam Makhachev, even though he does share a lot of the same strengths, is the superior fighter. Say whatever you want about the size differential. So if Dustin did want to fight at 170, I know that he used to be a former featherweight, then, fit the mold really well at lightweight. And now if he was ever going to move up to 170, I don't know if the power would exactly translate the same up there. I feel like that Belal Muhammad's chin is really good as well, so I don't think Poirier would be able to really knock him out. But honestly, he's a superior enough striker, and he's got good enough cardio, and it would just be able to maintain a pretty heavy pace, to where I maybe could see him beating Belal Muhammad. This is a hot take for sure, because I could see a world where Belal Muhammad really is just ragdolling him on the ground and just making sure he shuts him the fuck down on there. But Dustin's takedown defense and defensive grappling in general, and what we saw out of those scrambles, looked fucking impressive considering he was going against Islam motherfucking Makhachev on that night. So well-rounded, so strong on the fucking ground, and the pound for pound number one. So yeah, Belal Muhammad, I do think that I would lean towards him to maybe beat Dustin, especially considering it is at 170, and that's kind of not usually Poirier's bread and butter here, but you know what, Poirier is good enough, especially that version of him that did show up, to where this is a hot take, but I could really see Dustin having a really good chance. Maybe he could just completely out-value Belal and piece him the fuck up, and his takedown defense really is fantastic against him. Because again, I don't think Belal is the same level of wrestler that Islam Makhachev is. They're both good, but again, it all boils down to Islam is the superior fighter, and Poirier was still able to look great against him and take a couple of rounds off him, you know what I mean? Ended up getting submitted, but Belal Muhammad doesn't have the finishing ability, not even fucking close, to what Islam Makhachev has. So at the end of the day, I can maybe see the diamond getting this one done, but I'd probably lean towards Belal. Still, this is a hot take, but I feel like a lot of people could agree with this one, and I can honestly see it. I feel like this would be some pick 'em odds right here. And that is gonna be it, boys. Thank you so very much for tuning in this video and making it this far. Let me know your hot takes below, and let me know what you think of these hot takes for the video. Appreciate y'all so very much for giving me your time and attention, man. Drop a like for this one. Please hit subscribe. It is endlessly fucking appreciated. So, all the smoke here. Hope you guys have a good time watching UFC Baku this weekend, man. It's going to be a really fun card. Hope you guys enjoy it, whether you're solo or with your homies, whatever the hell it may be. Hope you have a good time, man. So, all the smoke here. Appreciate y'all a lot. Hope you have a good one, and I will see you all next time.